I hear everything one way, even though they say I don't pay attention. I do everything the same as the way I did it last time. Still you see my life is pitiful, that I'm selfish and predictable. Though I have no voice to disagree, I don't wanna change. Never says always regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at me now. I'm the next you.
All right, we are back in the saddle again. Mr. Dwayne, what's going on, brother?
Living life to the fullest, man. How about you?
Dude, getting ready for these holidays and getting more and more of these stories. It's
Yeah,
been hard to even think about the holidays, to be honest with you.
it has. Yeah, I've been running. I'm serious. Preaching to the choir. I've been running nonstop. The stories have been coming like crazy, and it's like they're getting worse. If you can, everyone you think is the worst one possible, the next one just adds to it.
You're not kidding, dude. I mean, in all the years, that both of us have been doing this, it never ceases to amaze me. I'd say 99% of the stories are very identical, and you get that 1% that's like, holy crap.
Yeah,
And when they come in, it's just, it's hard to imagine.
blows you away.
It does. It blows you away. Guys, really quick, if you're watching this, yes, we are live.
Right.
We had to do a replay earlier today. We've had a lot going
A
on.
lot.
I don't think we haven't had a day off in like a month and a half. I mean, it's a lot's going on, but good stuff. There's
Yeah.
a lot of good stuff that's coming up. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We got some of these voicemails that we're going to be playing tonight. Tonight's we're kind of winging it, okay? But this is one of the most important shows to be winging because I've been talking about this for a while. 10 ways that you can challenge the narrative about dads, and that is an important subject, and we'll tell you why here in just a little bit. Before we get into that, Mr. Dwayne, I saw you playing Santa Claus yesterday. Could you tell us what went on?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, Santa Claus. Yeah, dads. I guess we go through like the 4 or 5 phases. When you're little, you believe in Santa Claus, and you don't believe in Santa Claus, and then you become Santa Claus, and you look like Santa Claus. Of course, I think mine was a combo, looking like Santa Claus and being Santa Claus. No. So yeah, what happened is, everyone is aware of what happened with the unfortunate thing that happened to Tyrone Darling, and here in Arlington, Texas, and again, Tyrone had 4 children, and they weren't going to have Christmas. I'm trying to figure out some way to sugarcoat this one, but there's just no way to sugarcoat. I mean, they've had their father. I mean, we had the visual last week, and got to actually hear one of the children. I believe it was just the one. Yeah, one of the children, the ones that were there, spoke for a bit. Missing his dad. And the Dad Talk Today community said, collectively, hey, there's no way that's going to soften the blow, make it any easier, any better, whatever. We got to do something for these kids. So, went, got toys for all 4 children, and drove out. I can't remember what day it is. Every day is like us running together. But and it was funny, I'm about like an hour and a half away. We want to make it easy, as easy as possible on the mom. And because again, who wants to go out shopping after what's happened? So we agreed to go ahead and take those down to her, about an hour and a half away each way. It was a nice little drive. Got wife and I went, so you got to spend some quality mom dad time. But went down there and delivered those toys to the family. They were beyond grateful for the gift, the unexpected gift. And again, that's what Dad Talk Community does is we're there for the kids, for the families, trying to do what we can to soften the blow of what happened, and we're still going to be there, for them.
Make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making
a difference everywhere we can, man. That's got to be a hard one going into that holiday season. Neither of those kids or none of the kids have mom or dad. That's just a sad reality here, guys. Unfortunately, I wish that was the end of that type of news. We're getting more. Dwayne, have you seen the case? I think it ended up in Arkansas, but it originated in Texas, where the mom drowned the child in the toilet, threw it up under the stairs.
Yeah.
Threw the child up under the stairs. That was mom and a boyfriend. They found the decomposing body, but there was another child there too that was being abused. I think she is now in the hospital. I was talking to some of the family earlier, the grandma. She had been trying to get rights, and the system was keeping her away. Much like it goes with Glenn's story last night. How many times did Glenn have to say to attorneys, judges, CPS, or anybody that was out there, if you don't give me my son, she's not going to do this quietly. She's going to kill my son. Nobody listened. And she killed his son.
Yeah, she killed her son and killed herself. Yeah, when you mentioned the grandparents' rights, of course we have the issue with fathers' rights, but the larger or a different aspect of it is the grandparents' right. In most states, I think almost all of them, there are zero grandparents' rights. Especially when these things happen, or when there's a divorce or anything, grandparents are removed. And when you look at the data, having your grandparents and extended family in that child's life is so paramount in the child's well-being. And then it shapes who they are and how they grow up. We have the fatherless epidemic that we've had over the last several decades, and then on top of that, when these things happen, it's a ripple effect. It impacts more than just the I hate the dad, or I hate the mom, or I hate the kids, is what it ultimately boils down to. You got the grandparents; they're removed from that child's life, and they miss it. Katie, when she was giving her story, and again, if you have not watched Katie Haas's story, is from a couple nights ago, you need to go out and watch that. There's a lot of powerful stuff in there, and you're hearing from this young lady, what she thought, and she talked about her grandparents. There was so much of her life that she was missing, because we all want to know where we came from, where all those things. And when you take a parent out of the picture, you're also taking the grandparents out, and they just lose so much they'll never get back. And I wish there was some way to change that. We've got to change it.
Definitely, man. I don't know if it's probably me. Internet's acting up a little bit, so we're losing you here every so often. But guys, we're gonna keep on rolling and making what we can out of it. I guess now would be a good time to get into it, Dwayne. And we might need to do this when we get a little bit more time to prepare. But we'll go ahead and do what we can tonight. Ways that you can challenge the narratives about dads. We've got to do that, man, because I say, look at Glenn. How many times did he have to say something? But because he was a dad, more than likely because he had the beard, or he didn't look the way that they wanted him to, or he wasn't from the right side of town, they didn't listen to anything that the guy had to say.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, he pleaded with and again, Glenn's another story that you need to watch. He's told his story before, but it hit it hit just as hard, if not harder, when he told it, on your show this morning. It's something. You need to watch the show, but yeah, fathers, being removed, it's just horrible. I can't imagine. Even though it's been a couple years since that event happened, the pain is obviously just as real, and it's still there. It never leaves. It's challenging the narrative. I want to jump into it. I want to jump in to challenge that narrative, because there's things that people can do to challenge that narrative. I don't know if you want to start off with that, or if we see where it goes.
Well, I think the first one is the meme that you see flying around the community all the time. I think people love it every time they see it. Instead of asking a father why he didn't fight harder, ask him why he had to fight at all, or
Yeah.
ask mothers why he had to fight at all. I mean, the fact that we put so much on our guys and say, you got to do this, you just got to hire an attorney, you just got to go to court, you just got to pay your child support, you just got to do this. You just got to let him see his children. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Many of these cases could be settled if the parent would do what's in the best interest of the child. They don't have to go to court. They don't.
No.
They can do this amongst themselves. But when one parent makes another have to go to family court for no other reason than they just want to get them through the court, I think parental alienation is happening right then. So challenging that narrative, ask her, why did he have to fight in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I was on another forum and out of Australia, and they had a sign up on a telephone pole that said just that. You know, instead of asking the father why, or why he didn't fight, ask why you don't. Why do you have to fight at all? He should be allowed to see his children. I don't know what people think the narrative is, but fathers, at least all the ones I know, want to be in their kids' life. They're fighting. They're dying, literally dying to be in their children's lives. And we've got a court structure and a society that tells them, we don't care. We don't want you. And again, it's got to stop.
I mean, it does. And, I think another way of challenging the narrative, again, I mean, it goes back to, why does the father have to fight at all? Why does the father have to fight at all? I mean, the whole construct of the family court, I think the movement has been so zoned in on how to navigate this system rather than saying this system shouldn't exist in the first place. And I guess it's a kind of a bold statement, because there is going to be cases where family court's needed.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, family court is not needed. The whole construct of it is bogus in the first place.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It makes, and I would argue 90 to 95% of the cases, it's not needed. It's, in Texas, they have a course that they teach kids in high school, that this is what you do. You put the one of the parents on child support, and you do this, and you have to use the government. We had a court case that went all the way to the state Supreme Court, where it was argued that children are wards of the state. You don't own your kids.
Right.
Glenn was told that by that police officer when he went to go see his child. And again, I keep, if you don't know about the Glenn Terry story to the audience, you need to watch that video. Be sure to stay watching us, but go watch that video afterwards. I don't know. There's just so much to unpack and talk about with that. I mean, I'm getting all these ideas and I'm trying to figure out a way to say them.
Definitely. Justin Simpkins, he's got a real good comment down here, and I appreciate you for doing this. He said, changing the narrative starts on this page. Too often I see posts on here from other dads with assumptions that little kids need to be with their mom, that mom should automatically retain physical custody of the kids, and dad should move out when couple splits, and that dads will automatically be defaulted to bad court experiences. All of the things start immediately because men believe these things are true by default when none of them are true. You know what? The first 4 letters of your last name, Justin, is the problem. You're not the problem, not your dad. I'm just saying, the simp, okay? You bring up something that is really good here. That narrative doesn't just come at us by other women. That narrative is believed by almost everybody, and other men at times, a lot of the time, can be more critical of other men than anybody else because they are living up to that expectation. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. And that means you have to do this. I got through the court system where I stayed married. So you know what, dude, you just need to do it. You need to man up. You need to get out there and take care of your kids. They have no idea what it's like to walk a mile in that man's shoes. And those are the type of people, again, Dwayne, that not long after that, when they find themselves going through it, you just want to sit there and be like,
how's that crow taste?
Yeah.
Here's a little crow. Why don't you take that? Yeah. I mean, and Another thing is we need to have. See Justin there. It looks like a young father. Congratulations. I saw the Facebook picture there, and fighting hard to be in your kid's life, staying there. Hopefully, you got everything is working out and it's good. But we need us gray haired guys. And we need the young guys. I mean, we need them to do it as well and get trained up. But we need the old guys telling the young guys that this is how it's supposed to be. If they didn't have a father or whatever, if they don't know or they believe all the societal nonsense, they need us old guys. Not a funny story, but a story. Just yesterday, I went to visit a good friend of mine. Him and his wife, they just had their first child last week. I mean, it was actually during some tornadoes, so they're going to have lots of funny stories. And we were there, and I was being very mindful to talk about the importance of fathers. Now, again, this couple, they're both as red pilled as can possibly be, which is great. But I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the new father, and I'm talking to his father-in-law, and I'm talking about things like you're a dad, you're important, and then of course I'm doing the statistics because that's who I am. But really pumping these dads up and letting them know that he is so important to that child's life, making sure that all the moms can hear it too, but telling them and that's what people need to be doing is when you're having those conversations with those new dads, give them the attaboy, buy them a coffee, pull them alongside you and say, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep it up, and pumping these guys up. That's what we all need.
I'm with you, dude. I think since I've been doing this, I get into these conversations much different now. Have you ever been listening to somebody's family history and they'll be like, they're talking about their daughter or somebody like, oh, she married a man. He's not around. He doesn't have anything to do with the kid. He's not reaching out. He's not doing any of this. He's a deadbeat. And I'm like, why'd they break up?
Yeah. Wow.
And then I started asking questions about it. Then I've heard the ones that are like, oh, he was never around. He never even came to see his kid. Does he know the kid was born?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he knows. How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? There's just so many of these questions. If we started asking those questions rather than when we hear these stories, Mighty Mouse comes to save the day and think, oh my God, the poor person, the dad left and she's having this hard thing. Find out why. Yeah. Because it's not all the time that these dads just leave. Sometimes they get ran off.
Oh yeah, we heard again. I'm willing to bet $1 to a donut that Katie Haas's dad probably falls into that category. I mean, everything I heard from that interview, I mean, I'll eat some crow if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Too. Yeah, I mean, well,
I'll fry it up.
We'll fry up the little salt on it.
We'll fry everything in Georgia. But I'll eat that crow.
And the thing is, as we get more and more educated on these things and talk about them, Amber Alerts, let's throw that out there. Up until I'd say earlier this year, every time I saw an Amber Alert where a dad stole a child, I'd be like, oh man, that I put my Mighty Mouse cape on, that no good, blah blah. Now I'm like, he probably just want to spend time with his kid. I'm gaslighting you into throwing some stuff up on the board. There we go. I didn't see a red pill. I did finally see Mighty Mouse. Well, I won't hold it against you, but there we go. Red pill.
Everybody take it. You're prescribed. And we got refills. We come back on every day at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, Amber Alerts, and when I used to hear those stories, oh, he's never in the kid's life, and oh, he's a deadbeat, and I used to be like, yeah, he's probably kind of a jerk or whatever. Now I'm like, yeah, he was probably fighting, doing everything he can to be in the kid's life and use the court system, your friends, all the other people to drive him away, and he probably has to stay away because you won't let him.
The majority of these dads, I say, are good dads that are fighting.
Yeah.
82.5% national average. That shows that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there are some deadbeats. I think they are the minority here. Yeah. Unfortunately, people will talk about the deadbeats as the majority, and there are some good dads, and we're the minority over here. Yeah. We've got to flip that thing back around. I mean, we've got to flip it back around and asking these questions, guys, when you hear them. Don't be afraid to challenge. If they're telling you about the story anyway, ask questions, right? Yeah. Don't just believe the woman when she gets on Facebook saying this is what she does. Dude,
push back. Yeah,
You're
you
gonna
can't
get me
be afraid
started.
to offend anymore. We're well past that. Ooh, I don't want to say anything because that's how we got here.
Yep.
The first time that cartoon or commercial or TV show showed the dad being a moron, someone, and I should raise my hand. I should have been one of them. Should have raised my hand and said, I'm not watching this. I'm not supporting it. I'm going to tell everybody I know that this is a bunch of nonsense. But they allowed to get to do it. And then they're like, okay, well, this becomes a new line in the sand. Okay, we'll start. So now it's this. Well, now the man can't change a tire and the woman figures it out. And that narrative. And unfortunately, this is where we're at. This is why we're at today. We have got to fight that narrative.
We do. I mean, and it's going to be very difficult, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be very difficult. The mainstream protects it. I mean, you're just talking about how, you was paying attention to Amber Alerts. I think after the Johnny Depp case, Amber Alert means a whole new thing, right? For us.
Yeah.
They talk about
no
Karen.
poop.
Yeah, no poop. Yeah, no poop.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's talk about that as dads right now. Could you imagine walking into the bed and seeing a fresh pile sitting there on your bed sheets?
Yeah, that would be. I'd have to walk out of the room, clear my head, walk back in, and go, "Did I just see that? Did that just happen?"
I'd have to turn it back around. I'd have to change the narrative on that too. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Smokey, you eat corn?
Yeah, is that good corn? That well, we know how long it takes for corn to pass through, or something like that. Actually, I saw a comment out there. There's a new tagline: "Stop with your mama game," or "Stop with your mom games." New tagline out there, or whatever that pound sign is. There we go. Maybe start passing that one around.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, we got people out there that that get it. We need more people out there. Hey, who's that sexy lady? Who's that sexy lady and that old guy there?
Dude, I never got the chance to say it, but talking about your Santa Claus adventures, your wife went with you. You guys with 3-hour round trip. Was that the vigil and everything? Can we give a little thank you to Dwayne and his wife, man? It's been nice having you on here, man. It's been a while, and it's definitely good when you can sit there and you can bounce the ideas back and forth. Because I'll be honest with you, man. As we're hearing these voicemails and we're hearing these stories come in, sometimes I'm at a loss of words. You're trying to comprehend it. You're trying to soak it in. You're trying to find out anything that you can do to say. And some people might think this is about a show. No, that is not what this is about. But let me tell you something. There are some people out there that are so hopeless in this world, okay, that are fighting such tough situations that something like this could be a very big inspiration to them, right?
Yeah.
It's what I wish I would have had when I was going through it. And so getting on here and doing what we're doing, having the conversations, doing some of the dork stuff that we're doing, I think it's helping people. I know it's helping people.
Oh yeah, I mean we see it in the comments. People have reached out on the various medias saying that this is that they were in a dark spot, and this has given them a way to rethink that. Hey, they're not alone. Again, why do people go down that real dark road? I don't want to say it because I don't want you to get demonetized or deplatformed or whatever, but they go to that the final solution because they have no hope. They feel like they're in this all alone. This show shows them, hey, you have brothers and sisters that are out there that are fighting. You have the free forum on Dad Talk Today help group that people can go in there, and it's a community of people that are trying to help each other, trying to figure all this stuff out. And I mean, this sometimes can be the last thing that someone, they see it because they're Googling whatever, and they're like, I got nothing left. And this helps them.
Man, it's you brought up another thing, talking about changing the narratives, another subject, guys. Men are afraid to express their emotions and feelings.
Yeah. Do
you pay attention on this page? I think I forget how many tens of millions of people that was reached just in the last month on this page. Okay, I can show it to you. Those aren't men that are afraid to express their feelings. They're afraid of the people that they've been expressing them to. And so what we can do is show them we're not afraid to express our feelings, but you don't want to hear what we had to say.
True.
Let's
Yeah.
say what they don't want us to say. Let's get it out there, man. I think it's time.
Yeah. No. I mean,
You know?
it's time. I mean, sitting
Watch
back.
how far you go.
Well, yeah. Gotta keep it, PC, G-rated, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the days of sitting back and shutting up, they're over. They have to be over because it's not getting any better. We have all these new laws that are coming down. We have just the outright open season on. I mean, it is open season on dads. I started to say it and I went, well, I mean, no, it is. It's open season on dads, on parenthood in general. The breakdown of the family. They've been working this program for the last 50-ish years. It's got to change. We've got to do it. The dads and the moms, all the organizations, all the people locking shoulders and pushing forward to change that narrative. That's the only way it's going to change. And again, the ladies out there, we need you. I mean, I know we say it a lot, but just in case if you're just tuning in and you're like, oh, what are these dads talking about? We need the ladies. The ladies are the ones that you're out with their girlfriends and they're talking about, their boyfriends, blah, blah, blah. And you can change. You can say, no, he's probably a good guy. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Don't take the guy's kid away from him. I mean, we've had so many stories, interviews that just in the last few weeks of dads dying, being put in harm's way and dealing with all kinds of stuff, just fighting to be in their kid's life. Let them.
Absolutely.
Let them. I mean, how hard is it?
It's that easy, man. Or what? I mean, for the ones that do, then you got the other challenges where we was talking about the counter parenting. Every time a dad tries to be a dad or make some rules or some morals or something like that, he gets counter parented the whole way. And these moms don't realize the disrespect that they're teaching the kid to have for their own father.
Well,
many of us are not. It's not that we're just not being gave the opportunity to have our parenting time. We're not even allowed to parent, Dwayne.
Yeah. Yeah, and even in these situations,
it does.
Oh yeah, well, even in these situations, you can't even effectively parent because you know that if you step out of line, they're gonna call CPS on you. They're gonna take you back to court in a heartbeat, and they'll change it. So you're continually playing some 3-layered level of chess or something, trying to raise your child. You have all these outside things, and you're worried that the ex is going to do something, and trying to navigate all that. I think again, making it to where you can't parent, it's not doing the kid any good. I mean, what do most women say? And again, we're talking about the 82.5 national percentage and all that stuff. So I can, categorically say, what do women, but what do women say when the kids are teenagers? Oh, my kid doesn't respect me. He doesn't listen to me. He has no morals. What the hell is the dad? What the dad's teaching, trying to teach those things, and you're countering it. And then you're surprised when your kid does the things that he or she was never taught. Or that you showed, you can do whatever the hell you want to. And then they sit there going, oh, what's going on?
That'll become your fault too, because you didn't put your foot down enough.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm serious, dude. I mean, like, and we know it's not all moms, but how many people on those pages that create that feminist narrative are saying, well, it's not all dads? Bullshit, dude. We got to stop apologizing. You guys know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know exactly who we're talking about. I'm going to get back to Mr. Justin. He said, honestly, narrative also needs to be changed on the other side, too. There is a belief that a dad without custody is expected, while a mom without custody is automatically a bad mom. All of them. I would say this narrative works against dads because not only do moms then fight harder in court and socially to destroy the dad in ways that he would never do to her. I'll agree. Yeah. It's got to be hard if you're a mom and you lose custody. But I'm going to tell you, the difference in that, Justin, is most of the time, if mom lost custody, it was for damn good reason. Because it is almost impossible for a dad to win custody. Yes, there are those moms that fit in that category, and we need to be locking arms with them and getting them in here. But when we fight for equality, that means equality for them, right? None of us are sitting here fighting for superiority. But I'd say the majority of the time, if there is a mom that loses custody, she had to do something really bad. That's why that narrative exists against moms, right? But there's always going to be corruption in the system, and there's going to be these cases where that can happen. But yeah, I think in many of these cases, man, you can be a knight in shining armor. They're going to find a way to assassinate your character, because if you're not going to be with me, you're not going to be with your kids.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it happens to moms just like it happens to dads. Again, it's down to money. It could be just how the judge felt that morning, which is another weird reason why we allow judges to make these unilateral decisions and all that. We got to change the narrative. And again, this is the weird thing. If you get right down to it, we're fighting for equality. The show is
Equality.
Dad Talk Today. We're fighting for equality, and people are fighting against it. But yet, and those are usually feminists, and feminism, at least first and second wave, were for equality. That just makes no sense. It's that non sequitur thing. It just makes no sense.
It's crazy. Yeah, feminism in the beginning was a great thing, guys.
Yeah.
It was a great thing. They was fighting for equality. They wanted the right to vote. They wanted the right to work and all these other things that every human being should have. But somewhere along the way, we went from equality to
I'm better.
here. And I mean, that was, watch Warren Farrell. Listen to Warren Farrell. Watch The Red Pill. Not the red pill that we pop up on the screen, but watch the documentary, The Red Pill.
Documentary.
It is really good stuff, man. And it all intersects. It really does. It intersects with what we're talking about here. Mr. A. He said, we need to, I thought of Mr. Ass.
Yeah. Maybe he's
You
Mr.
remember-
Cheese, like third cousin or something. I don't know.
Well, they had the Mr. Ass in the WWE. It was like Billy Gunn's partner. I'm sorry, Mr. A. I just,
We're giving him hell
it
here.
was the first thing that popped up in my head. I'm immature. I'm silly. I apologize because you're making a really good point here. He said, we need to let all the politicians know the science. Children do better when they have equal access to both of their fit parents. Let me tell you something, brother.
Thanks
I was
for
just
that.
telling Dwayne about this not too long ago. I have printed up boxes of research and sent it into the legislation. Texas, before they went through the Equal Shared Parenting Bill 803, I printed up over 800 pages and put it in a box and sent it to the legislative committee and said, here you go. And I'm going to tell you, man, even with the research, guys, it's, I sound so down on this. They don't care about the research. They care about the bottom line. That's it. And I
Yeah.
know I sound so down on politicians. It's because I am very down on politicians. They know it. It affects the bottom line. And as long as they think you're going to be taking money away from them, they're not going to do anything about this, which is why I put it back on us. It's not about us letting politicians know or any specific person. We need to let the world know.
Yeah.
Your favorite thing, Dwayne. We're not going to take it.
We're not going to take it. Good old D. Snyder. Yeah, Mr. A. Let me just tell you,
Want to say Mr. Ass too.
I wanted to. I stopped myself. Unequivocally, politicians all know about all the data, all the research. They will look you straight in the eye and give you that confused puppy dog look. They don't know. I had a politician, well, actually his daughter, standing out in my front yard while he was trying to get elected, tell me he knew nothing about 2503, which is custody interference. Come to find out, he's been talked to about a number of times. You go to pissedoffparent.com. There's a section dedicated to when legislators high up all the way down are being told about Title 4D and all that. They all know about that piece of it, that it's all about money. They know that their state budget will not be met if they don't get that money in. That's just cold hard fact.
Well, there's a narrative to change. So you're telling me you don't know about the laws that you're running
Well,
to get in office for,
that's
to make
different.
everybody's lives better? Who the
Yeah.
hell are you to run for office if you don't know what's affecting your people?
Yeah. And the thing is, I say most, a number of the politicians are family law attorneys. They're well
Majority.
versed. Yeah. They're the ones that are making the laws to take you away from your kids and to put you into slavery and bankruptcy and everything else. They know exactly what they're doing. They just play stupid because you're a dumb voter. I mean,
How many legislators was it that was on the Texas
On the committee?
Yeah.
let's see. There was oh boy, I have to pull
Was
up the
it like
graphic.
8 or 9 that was there that day? And I think over half of them were all
Over half
attorneys.
of them, yeah, and most of them
Attorney.
were with the Family Law Foundation. That their job is to kill equal shared parenting bills. That's their job. And if you don't believe me, go to the Family Law Foundation for Texas and look at what they stand for.
Yeah,
Not my
man,
words,
it's-
theirs.
that and there was a few of the politicians that I did talk about, like everybody stuck on shared parenting. I believe in shared parenting. Shared parenting needs to happen, but it's not a bill that just goes in there alone. It's got to have consequences for false allegations. Another one that I've had several of them say they would love to try to carry it is that if you are an attorney and you are in office, that you would no longer be able to vote on legislation that affects your pocketbook
That
because
law
it's
already
conflict of
exists.
interest.
That law already exists. With HB
Well, they
803 in
ain't
Texas.
using it. Is it
Oh,
called
I know.
perjury?
No, actually, Wayne Del Solfino,
Really?
he talked about it on his on one of his videos, but we already knew about it from before. But he talked about it. It's actually all the documentation's on the website. I should have pulled it up, but it says in there that if you're impacted, you should not be voting on things that impact your personal, family law attorney. Family law attorneys should not be voting on family law stuff, i.e., equal shared parenting, child support, all that fun stuff. And they did anyway, and there's no consequences. People have said things about it, but nothing ever happened. Yeah, these laws already exist. Again, the law already exists that you're not to be treated differently based on your sex, religion, orientation, all the typical things. We're all created equal and all that stuff. But what happens? 82.5%. And that's the thing. You've said it before. Just because we can make a law tomorrow that says we're going to have equal shared parenting, it's not going to change because it's going to have judges' discretion in it. We've got to change the hearts and minds of the people. Again, not taking anything away from making the judicial or the legislative changes and all that, because that's nice. But
we want that.
We need to change. Baby mama terrorist to go. You know what? I'm not going to use the court system. Did I do it? Did I say it? Oh boy, and we're going offline. I didn't say TM. I think I have to pay a quarter for every time I use that phrase. But
let's talk about the phrase baby mama terrorist. All right, let's just get on into it. I remember talking to Larnell early on. He's had a page called F Child Support, and I was like, oh God, tell us how you really feel. And I was talking to Larnell again the other day, and he was calling him baby mama terrorist. That's what his whole community says.
Yeah.
But I get in there and I look at cases like what we saw last week, where there was a father that was gunned down on his way to work. What do you call that?
Yeah,
might sound extreme on the outside. What do you call some of these cases? What do you call Glenn Terry's ex that killed the child and killed herself?
Yeah.
And the more that you look into what it's saying and get past the name and some of the emotions that people are showing, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. I am not saying to start putting that in the comments. That's not what I'm doing.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying I know where he's coming from.
That word will get picked up in all the platforms, and the media does not like that. So my apologies for using it, but it is accurate.
It's okay. It's okay. That's the thing, man. Like we talk about, we need to change the narratives about dads.
Yeah.
You're looked at as a bunch of angry deadbeats that don't want to pay child support. So anything that's a reflection of anger, I think it was Melissa Isaac used to say all the time, and it was one of the most true statements I've ever seen. Emotions win cases for women, and they lose cases for men. Yeah. If he gets angry or he gets passionate and he's trying to say what's going on, that will go against him. However, if she turns on the tears, everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying that's fair, guys. I'm not saying that's fair at all.
It's the world we live in.
But most people have been programmed with this narrative, and that's why it's so effective.
Yeah. And we need to change that narrative. Again, when the Amber Alerts came out, the first thing you would think of, oh my God, bad guy taking, the poor child away out of the crying hands of the mother. Well, after you start investigating these more and more, you start going, wait a second, it's just some dad that wanted to see his kid, or, he had his kid and the mom was lying. And unfortunately, there's no consequences. We got Anomic King.
He just donated some stars. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Salute.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you can do yours now on Facebook. Dad Talk Today. You can do them on YouTube too.
Yeah.
They're not stars. They're super chats.
Try something there.
Right.
This is
it's
Chico's fault. Yeah. Here's something that an idea, getting this message out to more and more people. Again, you mentioned earlier on how your personal page is getting more reach than Dad Talk Today. I'm going to challenge everybody. Like right now, click the share button and the like button during this live, and see what happens. I mean, I do that because the algorithm gets the juices flowing and gets it out there. But yeah, if everyone like right now, stop what you're doing, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, then you're in. But that that gets it out there.
Well, it'll show you some of the crap that ends up making it happen that way. It's not like it just happens. I remember I shared this meme, and it was a very thoughtful one. It was like, life is not about fancy cars or big houses or successful jobs. It's about having a family that you love and that you can trust. I think it was along those lines.
Yeah.
That got fact checked. It was misinformation.
Yeah.
I kid you not, dude. I still got it saved somewhere, and I'm like, what about this?
Yeah.
Needed a fact checker. We're not talking about COVID.
Yeah.
We're not talking about an election.
Yeah.
All it was an inspirational meme. And there's no way to like go back and forth. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You
Dad
know,
Talk
you
today
gotta
is
sit
being
there and take
targeted.
it.
Yeah. Dad Talk today is being targeted. There's no, I mean, that is a exhibit A in the Dad Talk today is being targeted. So the only way the reach is going to get out there and the live notifications, everything else that's going on and all the crazy stuff Eric's planning is to like, share, subscribe. That's the way to make that
as
happen.
long as you guys are here.
Yeah.
Make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, ding that bell. But we're
Ding
going to
that
keep
bell.
content going on all the platforms. I'm really looking forward to getting over there. What do you think about Elon Musk? Do you think he's going to be able to make Twitter the platform that he's hoping it will be?
Well, like him or hate him, he's doing some stuff over there that.
Dude, have you ever been in a Tesla?
No, I have not. I was in a Maserati for the first time in my entire life
That was the
2
car,
weeks
yeah.
ago. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God. This
Yeah,
country
yeah.
boy in a Maserati. That was.
I felt the same way. Well, I mean, same person, Robert Garza.
Yeah.
He's the one that gave me my first ride in a Tesla. And they've
Okay.
got something called launch mode. Okay.
Lunch
Where, yeah. It's got like 3 different settings, and you put it in this thing called Ludicrous, and you put your foot on the brake, 1 foot on the brake, and then you put the gas all the way down. And then the car actually lowers. That thing will go 100 miles an hour in under 4 seconds. And when it does, oh, dude, I've never
Wow.
felt anything like it. It is the most insane thing. He did a really good job with that car.
Yeah.
And then talk about Easter eggs, like with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
He has Easter eggs in the Teslas. Like,
Huh.
you can program farts in each one of the seats.
See, now I want a Tesla. I mean, my
Dude, could you
car.
imagine having that with the kids?
Oh, it'd be awesome.
I would love it.
That would be the thing to do. Everyone's like dropping off now and Googling Tesla and trying to get,
It
trying
does.
to get the Tesla car.
I'm not lying. Look it up. And then he's got an Easter egg. If you punch in the screen and do it right, the car will start dancing. The car's doors will open, and then it'll start playing this song, and everything starts going off. And it's like, this guy is just a freak. And then you got to get into Neuralink and then SpaceX and all this other stuff. So I actually hope he can get that platform going. I think he from what I was seeing the other day, he was talking about trying to give YouTube a run for their money.
That would be something. Free speech on YouTube. That would be something, because yeah, I know a lot of guys are getting off of YouTube because they're getting strikes, demonetized for no reason.
No reason.
They have to, like, their conversations, they have to like change all these words around. They can't do all this stuff. And it's just there, and it is conservative. The ones I'm following, this is happening to them. But yeah, they can't say a certain one. They have to say they deleted themselves, or the snuggle struggle, or stuff like that. They can't say was it an article or whatever. It's just nuts. I mean, free speach. I mean, we need to have it.
I mean, and I understand there's got to be some limits on social media. I was listening to Jordan Lee Peterson talking about that the other day. Like, just because it's the internet, people think they can say whatever they want to with no repercussions. They say things to people that they would never say to their face, ever. Right?
And we need to bring that back. We need to bring that back, because a lot of people are feeling real comfortable saying stuff on the internet that they would not say to your face. And you can tell because they haven't got the snot slapped out of them for saying it. And it shows in a lot of
what
people.
happened on the airplane when the guy tried to say it to Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that was great. That was, and that, you know what, that kid had never And again, this is a parenting technique where regardless of where you sit on that whole topic, that kid thought that he could look Mike Tyson in the face and talk smack to him. I mean,
That was the biggest mistake you ever made in your life.
yeah, he got messed up.
I'm playing, Mike. I am playing.
Yeah. Do not. Oh my god.
No, dude.
Someone
I am
said-
playing. You were my favorite person to play against and punch out. My favorite video game of all time. Like, I've got nothing against you, Mike. You're one of the best boxers ever. But I have to do the voice.
I think, yeah. We got to get matching Mike Tyson tattoos. Just get that face tattoo. Wouldn't that be something? My wife likes tattoos, so maybe I should.
Oh, the face tattoo?
I should get the face. Yeah, the tribal.
I don't know about that
whatever.
one, dude.
That probably wouldn't work. Job applications and stuff, that probably wouldn't work out. That's a specific niche. That's a niche area of that tattoo.
Well, there's just some that you can't take back, and that would be one of them. And dude, it's so crazy. Back when I was promoting the bands, I had this one band that was wanting to show their appreciation. The drummer was a tattoo artist. He's like, Eric, I want to give you a free tattoo. I was like, cool. And I got him to make me this like big tattoo that went all the way right here. And it was one of those last minutes you're just sitting there thinking about it. He had already drew it up and everything, and I was like, put it on my leg. I'm glad I didn't, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the first one I got it at 50 years old earlier this year, and it's a cross, anchor, and a seamstress needle. One honoring my grandmother, one honoring my dad, and then of course, my family's got all my kids on it, and of course my blushing bride Brandy. But I'm also thinking about a second one. She wants me to get a sleeve, and it's going to be all this stuff: the Transformers, Voltron, He-Man, GoBots, Thundercats. I mean, you name it, all like on my other side. So we'll see what happens. Those are a little expensive.
So that was your first tattoo.
First tattoo in my entire life. 50 years old.
What'd you think of it?
It was great. Actually, the guy was like, he was, you're gonna be, hurt, blah blah. And I'm like, man, let's do this. And I was in the chair for hour and a half, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. Wasn't too bad. I held it together because he started asking me some questions about what each of these things mean. And, when I talk about my dad and my grandmother and my family, kid, I don't know, man. When I was younger, I never had these problems. I say, you know what? Here I am, talking about problems of being emotional and stuff. But, when talking about my dad, my grandma, and my wife and my kids, it hits. I mean, I can't hold it together. So yeah, I'm sitting there, I'm getting the tattoo, and I'm talking about my son because he got and I'm gonna try to keep my stuff together, but he got a tattoo of my favorite car, a '69 Fastback Mustang, on his chest when he was 18, and it's a picture of it's him and me driving off, and he's just letting know everything's cool and all that. And I was sitting there telling this guy this, and I started talking. All of a sudden, that first shot, when you get ready to lose it, that first shot of I want to cry like a girl.
Yeah, it's like knotted up in your throat.
Yeah, and then he goes. Then he tries to like change the topic because he's trying to okay, I can tell you it's an emotional thing for you. He's like so the anchor tattoo, and I'm like, okay, it's over. Here we go, and it was all. But yeah, and what's funny is my wife, Brandy, this is another thing for the girls, I guess, and every woman's different, I guess. Even they don't know sometimes, but my wife likes that I'm emotional. She likes, again, not crying all the time or whatever, but when I show emotions or whatever, she likes it. Who knew?
Dude, I understand, man.
I'm sure there's balance there. If I'm crying every time, like, oh my God, the milk expired, that's going to be a problem. But, big things, she'll, she likes that. Well, again, I'm usually, what are dads? We're the rock. We're the, the immovable object. We're the ones that get it all done. We're the stoic. Doesn't matter what happens, we've got this. And, seeing a crack or seeing, a little bit of emotion, I guess, well, at least for her, she likes it.
Dude, just be yourself. At the end of the day, there ain't no use in putting up walls and all these other things. Like, it's interesting you say that. I've been talking to one of the guys. You ever seen the show Ink Master?
Oh yeah,
he's actually an alienated father, and we're supposed to be getting him on here. I won't say his name right yet, but big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
I know who you're talking about, but okay, I won't say his
False
name.
allegations, the whole 9 yards, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think I told you about it. We had an NBA story.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning I woke up. That should be next week, hopefully. So you
Hopefully.
ain't gonna have to wait long on that one.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's get into some of these voicemails because we
Yeah.
still do have some of these tucked back. We won't go.
And again, this is last chances here to call in, leave a voicemail, a minute long, wishing Christmas to your kids, to your family. This is a chance. Call in and do that so they can be played on the Christmas special.
That's it.
Please do that. I mean, this will be a thing that you can let your kids listen to. Hopefully they see it on their own, but it's something that kids can listen to at a future date and go, hey, my mom or dad, they're thinking about me. And trust me, that's important.
I did something similar. I think it was 2020. It was around Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I told people to send in a picture with their kids and write on the picture how long it had been since they seen them.
Ooh.
John Mass was the first one. And it was him holding his kids, and it said 2.5 years. And I had to go back and look at that video and see that. Yeah, guys. I mean, that's it. We've tried to keep the voicemail lines open this week just so you can say Merry Christmas to your kids. I love you. I miss you, whatever. But the time's running out. So
don't say the
I'm going to tell you, nobody's taken that opportunity yet. I'm not going to lie to you. I've gotten several voicemails. Is this Eric? Or I want to get on the show. I want to do this. I want to do this. But there's an opportunity right now for you to say, hey, kids, Merry Christmas. I love you, and I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
That right there is powerful.
Think how much that would mean.
So, yeah.
And back in the day,
at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, and back in the day, and I mean, how for the ladies or the guys, who knows, but mostly for the ladies, when you heard your boyfriend play your song over the radio, I mean, was that not magic? Or say your name over the radio, dedicated song. Remember, were you in that? Wait, no, you're. So in the '80s, it was aside from mixtapes, a cool thing to do was to call the local radio station.
Oh, dude, I knew all of them as numbers.
Okay, all right.
I did it all the time.
Okay. You're okay. You knew the magic. You knew what to do.
Oh yeah. I knew right when to call. There was like a certain thing, and if it busy, hang up, redial. Hang up, redial.
Right.
Hang up, redial. Yeah.
So you got in do that. Yeah, that was.
Dude, that gives me a memory. Like I remember one Sunday night after I grew up and I first moved out of the house, there was some national show on rock radio. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he had a guess this song. Right. It was my first time being on national radio, not just local.
Right.
And I called in and I was the first one he answered. And I didn't know this. Like if you get on the radio and you've got a radio on in the room, it'll start getting all staticky and stuff. So I had to turn off the radio. And he was like, can you guess this song? And I heard la 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 la. It was at I believe in a thing called love. I was like, it's the darkness. It's the darkness. He's like, you won. I was like, oh, man, this is so freaking awesome. He's like, we're going to send a prize to your house. They got my address, man. I sat there and waited for like 2 months. It's like, what did I win? I got like one of those dollar DVDs from Big Lots, like the Adventure of Sherlock Holmes.
Did it say Columbia House on it or something?
I don't know, man. It was like something you get at the Dollar Tree, which now the Dollar Tree's $3.50.
Yeah.
But
about $3.50.
Yeah, well, I waited for months for that, thinking I was going to get something special. Hey, dude, get on somewhere. I'm glad you're not on the radio anymore.
I'm glad you got fired.
But you would have had to know. You know who I'm talking about with the darkness, right? I believe in a thing called just let it do. And never mind, no.
Yeah, no.
You look it up. The darkness. The darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
Who sang that?
The darkness.
The darkness.
The name of the song is I believe in a thing called love. You'll know it if you hear it. It's a crazy music video. All right. That is our cue. We're going to listen to these voicemails. 762-441-0281.
Good morning. It's Mike from Georgia. And I think systems automatically garnishing wages is treating us all as criminals. On top of that, they then charge you a handling fee, a percentage of that garnishment for the effort the state is doing to put that garnishment in place and collect the money and hand it off to the mother. I just think that's wrong.
Well, I mean, he brings up, I guess that's a part of Title 4D too, but talking about that garnishment.
Mm-hmm. That's the enforcement. Yeah, that's part of their, so they can get their bonus check. as that. And then that's one of those, when we talk about it's a $60 billion a year industry and the states recover millions of dollars. We're not even talking about that. There is that, usually they'll charge, I think it's like $3.25 or about $3.50 at this point. And in that, every time you get it garnished, that this goes back to the state, they get charged a fee. It's a money making scheme. But yeah, no, I mean, he's right. The garnishment piece of it is so they can say they enforced the Title 4D piece of it, so they get those recovery funds. Or I'm sorry, actually, that's for the bonus check. I take that back. That's the bonus check piece. So as they're enforcing, it has to go up every year. That's when they get, I think Texas got $600 million. Oh, hey, Rob, thank you for leaving a message.
Yep,
Maybe they'll start the
brother.
wave. Yeah, good job, man.
Maybe they just started the wave, Rob. You started it, brother.
Sorry, everybody do the wave.
Do people still do that? I haven't been to like a sports game and geez, man, I can't tell you when. I think I was a kid.
Oh, wow. I think they've done it. Yeah, I mean, I think I went to baseball. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I think they still do that wave, seventh inning stretchy wave and all that stuff. But maybe start a wave across the internet or something. I don't know. Hands across America on the internet.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Mike's from Georgia too, the guy that just called in. So
Yeah.
we didn't do the wave. We were at Atlanta Braves. We had the
yeah.
tomahawk. Yeah.
You're allowed to do
I got
that.
a little Native American in me. Not as much as Elizabeth Warren, but it's in there. I promise you.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's keep it going. 762-441-0281.
I'm like, can I say?
Hey, Eric, this is Charles from Virginia, the dad of 7 kids. Just wanted to preempt my original phone call that was aired on the Wednesday show of Child Support. We initially, this preempts my call. We initially went into court for me petitioning the court for another protective order. She had shaken the baby. So when we went to court, we had in the divorce decree that we already had signed, we already had agreed to 50-50 custody, and she had permanently relinquished child support in the divorce decree. So we go to court, and we were in there because she shook the child, and that turned in to something that set off a whole bunch of events for me. She had previously stabbed me, and she had previously abused the children and shaken them, but they kept allowing her to be involved. So when we went to court, I'm like, well, I've got a protective order already. She's broken the protective order this time for shaking the child. And how this pertains to child support is they looked at the divorce decree, and it was such a powerful divorce decree, they had to change the circumstance. And the way they went about changing the circumstance was, because we were in court for her shaking the child, what the judge did in this case was he changed the circumstance, said I caused her duress, and immediately they started the child support process, even though the divorce decree said permanently relinquishment of it. So throughout all that time, she fraudulently obtained child support, and the reason why they changed the circumstance was they said best interest of the child, and I was just so confused as to how a divorce decree that states permanent relinquishment of child support, and she's the one continuing the domestic violence, how that would get turned into child support. So I was just really confused. So as time went on, I was having a hard time at work. I went into court to ask for a modification and reduction in child support because I couldn't work. The judge said, if you don't go back to work, I'm going to put you in jail. And I went back to work with my employer, the United States Navy, and I was having, I had a seizure because I am not able to take certain medications because of my classification of my job. So I immediately had a seizure as soon as the judge said, if you don't, I had medical paperwork, and the judge told me I could use my medical paperwork to wipe my butt with it. He used the swear word. But anyway, and I go back to work and I have seizures. So, the child support that I was put on was obtained by perjury. And that was when I was talking about on your show that that she got found guilty of being overpaid through her fraud and was hit with fraud, embezzlement, and unjust enrichment. And so she had to pay it all back. So I find that fascinating. 81 court appearances and 59 reunification sessions. It's awful. It's just terrible. But I appreciate you, and I know the time.
Mine got cut off. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Charles. I mean, that's one of those cases where why would they allow this? Why would they allow this? And it seems like it's one thing upon another. If you were the breadwinner and then you were in the military, so you was probably making the money and you were the one that was gone and she had the custody, you got to keep that Title 4D train rolling. We're not talking about, the end of the day, Dwayne, talk about challenging the narrative right now. You guys aren't in there trying to prove how fit of a parent you are.
Yeah.
You're trying to show that, if for a guy, you basically got to say, mom is a piece of trash. My child is going to die. Sometimes even that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And do everything that you can. You got to prove that she is just dangerous for you to get any type of custody. In some of these states, man, it's that bad. And then again, even if it's one of those cases, she's going to kill my son. She's going to do this. If you're the one that keeps the money coming through into the system, that's the way it's going to end up every time. Dwayne, you got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, first, Charles, I didn't know if I can't remember the previous call. I remember pieces of it, but if I didn't tell you then, I'll tell you now. Thank you for your service. Two, again, the system's working as designed. That's like almost a broken record comment. The system is working as designed. And I'm hoping that after listening to Eric talk about these things over months, years, and all that. Actually, I'm hoping to produce a video here that'll kind of walk through some of it. And I think this is what will give a lot of people, at least it'll help them, is you have to understand the judge, the entire course, they could care less who the better parent is, who's this, who's that. It's all about money. And once you understand that red pill, that's going to help you in what you do going forward. And also, because again, you're typical dad, you're like, you walk into court thinking, hey, I'm the better parent, or the whatever, we're going to have 50-50, whatever that is. And then you walk out after they've called you every name in the book, told you to wipe your papers, wipe your butt with your papers, and those different things. You're like, wow, I must have done something wrong. No, there's nothing you could have done. That's just the way they are. They have to feed that beast. Listening to, them and the way the laws work is child support, no matter really what's written, even previous court documents, they're allowed to change that child support number or start it up again and do those things, because it's all, and then of course best interest of the child or whatever, but it's best interest of the courts, what's going to make the money. It's all to make that money. They're not going to do the right thing, or see who the better parent is, or who the children are going to do better with, or any of the other things that normal people would look at. They are looking at the bottom dollar, and whatever they have to say and do in order to get that bottom dollar, they're going to do. And I'm hoping, again, it's not going to make your day, but I'm hoping hearing that it's not you. You sound like a great dad, and you're fighting and trying to work through this system. Hopefully it gives you at least something to say, okay, it's not you. The system's working as designed, and that's going to help you kind of go forward. Instead of talking to everybody about the injustice, talk about it, but the injustice would happen. Understand that it was working as designed, and then your next tactic or the next thing you do to try to either get more custody or change the child support number, you understand what you're working with. Appealing to their sense of morals and good nature and all that, it's not going to work. You have to find another way that's going to be monetarily beneficial to them, to either reduce it, remove it, or whatever. It's just the sad reality. Until the millions of people get together to change it, it's not going to.
Well, and that brings back up like the conversation about like, dude, I wish this is as easy as going to educate the judges and educate the politicians, and that somebody is going to grab the flag and say, we're going for equality. Trust me, I've got a lot of political contacts. We've interviewed a few politicians in since we've been going.
Yeah.
Guys, it's crazy. Where you're trying to ask people to change something that they know is going on.
Right.
And I'm tired of playing around. That's why I'm here with you guys.
Right.
It'd be much easier to be up there doing that, making the contacts, taking the pictures and the selfies and stuff at these conferences. No, dude, It is amongst us, dude. We are the answers. And on this show, we're just not going to BS you. That's it. At the end of the day, if you're the breadwinner, most of the times they're going to be coming after you.
Right.
If you can find an attorney that is putting money in the judge's campaign, you might have a chance.
There's the short answer.
I
Yeah.
don't want you to. I mean, I want you to get justice, yes. But that's the problem with the system. And there's people that promote that angle. I don't promote that angle. We've got to cut it, man. We talk about generational curses and these things being passed down. That's what we're doing the longer that we continue to play inside of that system. We just keep passing it on.
Yeah.
And at some point, we just got to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what? It might suck for a bit, but let's get the truth out there, and we're not going to allow it to happen anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. You're never. I mean, again, what has the government ever done that's been beneficial? That's been short term, long term beneficial for the people? Nothing.
Stimulus is.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't even.
That's why we're paying $9 for it.
That's a trigger phrase for me
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, they neglected to mention a few things on the stimulus package to people. But yeah, I mean that's a whole other fun talk. But yeah, the government they're not there to help you. They're there to keep you as a slave. You know, the whole "don't feed the bear," and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. I mean, you watch it in the nightly news every day. I mean, Tyrone Darling got a 30-second spot in the news after it was reported. I mean, over and over and over, people were talking about it. They got a 30-second spot one time on the news, but they re-aired, dandelions in bloom for 10 minutes. I mean, that's what's on the nightly news now.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's what I was telling that grandma today. And it's hard to report on some of the stories that we're doing.
Yeah.
But when these stories first happen, sometimes they'll have it on the local media, or they'll blast it if they think it can get some ratings on it. Later on, when they go to court, or they need somebody there standing beside them, waving the banner because they've had to wait a long time for justice, who's there? Nobody. I've literally seen them beg, please tell people what's going on. You reported on my story. It got out there. Now I'm needing you more than ever. Where are you? And they're not there.
Well, that's for the community. I mean, this may be a pill here, but having the community standing behind when someone sticks their neck out, or when someone says, we're not going to take it, and they're fighting to get things changed. That politician, that judge, that whoever, they're worried about their name. They're worried about their reelection. They're going to then, go and see how many followers do they have? How many votes is this going to cost me? That's how they look at everything. How many votes is this going to gain me or cost me? And if that gets to the point where there's 10 million, subscribers and people watching and a lot of traffic on, say, no, just Dad Talk Today, and they go, ooh, maybe we better do something. They're not going to make a change because it's right. They're going to make a change because it's politically advantageous for them.
That brings up the conversation. I remember on the early days of Dad Talk, all I heard was like, we need to get celebrities. We need to get politicians talking about the issues. Man, I mean, luckily, Dad Talk had a following from the very beginning. We had 10,000 followers before we did the first podcast.
Wow.
And we were pulling good numbers early on, but I remember going to some of those guys and asking them, would you come on and talk about this? I know about your story. I know you got some skin in the game. They wouldn't even return my email, man, or anything. Now, as the numbers started growing, they started reaching back out. Hey, I remember you reached out, we want to get on the show. And it's like, okay, I know what this is for. At the end of the day, though, Dwayne, if they want to use the platform to get themselves popular or to get themselves some publicity or whatever, as long as you do the right thing, come on here. I don't think this is the type of publicity anybody should be begging for, but come on. And that's what we try to use the platform as. Like, let's get these conversations with these people. And we did, dude. I mean, we put the camera up in front of so many people's faces, interviewed people outside the Capitals, went to these conferences, and I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with what I've seen.
Yeah.
Go educate the judges, go educate the attorneys. Why are we, the parents, having to educate them on parental alienation or false allegation.
Yeah.
Blow that baloney out your rear end, man.
Well,
I
that,
mean,
when you said it, it kind of hit me. I'm like, I'm going, they already know it. But you took it back even one more step. Why should, Joe the plumber have to educate, you know, degreed, smart people that are representing us, that should know the law because they're voting on laws? Why should we even be? Why should we be even educating them? They should already know this stuff. If you're passing bills on things that impact families, you should know the existing law. You should know the data and the statistics. I mean, we had one here in Texas in one of the previous sessions, Gina Kalani, and they had a family law attorney trying to blow smoke up her butt, and she lit him up. She was like the rare exception, but you're right though. Why should we, be spending time? That's why we have representatives. I mean, I don't know if I need to give a history, not a history, but a government 101 course here. I think we all had to take it. Is they are our representatives. They're representing the people. They know what the constituents want, what we want to pass, if we want this or don't want this or whatever, and they should know the law and know how to represent us instead of their own personal interests. But yeah, I mean,
what's the first thing they tell you to do if you want to get in touch with one of your representatives? Go in there. Hey, I'm your constituent. I live in your district.
That's
because they know you're a voter.
And
they know you're a voter. And if
what do they care about?
I got to represent them. And then you'll get that first meeting and you never hear from them again.
No.
Most of the time.
Yeah, you never hear. And that, the thing is again, all of our representatives, okay, 10 years ago, I'll give them all a pass. In the 10 years, the work that you've done and others have done and reaching out to so many different people, they all know. They can no longer say they didn't know. They're doing this purely for money. I've been told by representatives they'll never pass equal shared parenting because the state would not make their state budget. I keep saying it over and over and over. They're not going to change it until they're threatened with not being reelected.
Especially not in Texas. If they could do the expanded standard, they could have done 50-50. But we have to have somebody that gets the least amount of time because we've got to keep that child support train rolling.
Well, and on top of that, you don't automatically get expanded basic. Now, for the folks that aren't in Texas, you have two main different ones. You have the standard possession orders called an SPO, and that gives you first, third, and fifth weekends, and then was like 2 weeks or a month out of the during the summer, and then I think every other year you get Christmas time, and then like every Thursday for 2 hours, which is one of their funny little math things. I've made fun of them a number of times on that. But expanded basic gives you like one additional overnight. I think on that Friday or Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, you can drop them off at school that Monday, and that gives you that additional time. You go from like a 15-ish% to maybe like a 35% of time with your child at that point. So it was a way to placate the people, but still get that child support. 50-50 would have made more sense. But again, they all know they will not make their state budget without that child support money. Again, Texas, that we know of, makes in that 800 million range. And again, when we talked about Kentucky, I'm going off on a rant here, but Kentucky, the first state that passed a true 50-50 bill. And within 2 years, they were crying that they could not make their state budget because they relied on child support money to offset the costs.
Sad thing about this, Dwayne, is I'm sitting here listening to both me and you talk about this because we know what the problem with the system is. Most of these grieving parents or somebody that's going through this system have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All they want to know is why I can't see my kids, and that's the sad thing about it. What we're talking about is the reason why you can't.
Yeah.
Right? This is the reason why it's going. Do you really think that these legislators and these attorneys and these judges are just that sour on dads?
Yeah.
No. They ain't doing this just because they think that dads are bad. They're doing this because they know that dads are going to get out there and bust their butt and that they're the ones to keep the system going. They actually think very highly of you. Because their system doesn't work without you, Dad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, if men stopped working, society would crumble. I don't care what anyone says. Those are the cold hard facts. And they need the men, but they need us to be slaves. They need us to be slaves to the system.
Slave to the system.
Threatening under, threat of of incarceration, going to jail to pay and put up with all this and keep going back, to court and playing all these games. That's how they keep that going. Actually, a point I forgot to make, because I went off on one of my rants, but you don't automatically get the expanded standard. You have to go back to court to get expanded standard. So more money going back to the court system, getting an attorney and those things. Now, of course, they said you don't have to, but we all know how that works.
Yep.
And the judge can still say no. I mean, again, it's more revenue. That's all they care about. And yeah, I know for the people that are just tuning in or that have been in it for a little while, or what's all these numbers that this guy keeps talking about. You just want to see your kid. Well, we're trying to explain to you why you can't see your kid. That's the reason. It's not because you're a bad parent, or you got a speeding ticket when you were 17, or you spanked the kid once, or what. That's not the reason. It's money. That's the reason.
This movement is constantly on like a rinse, recycle, repeat type deal, because when one person gets out of the system and thinks, I don't have to worry about it no more, there's a new one that comes in, and that person starts at point A, not knowing everything that we've got over here, and comes up with the same ideas, the same thing, thinking we've got to find some way to fix the system. Right. We're telling you, we need to start taking these people once they get into point A and say, go back through that library, educate yourself. We need like the one podcast. And it was crazy. I was talking to a guy today, my publisher, and they was trying to go through like different chapters of the book. And they was like, man, every time I start researching some of the stuff you're talking about, I find myself in about 30 different rabbit holes that I can't get out of, because I just start getting deeper and deeper into the research. And I was like, I told you.
Yeah.
It's like, it really, you could do a series of book on each subject.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because each subject is just that long.
Oh, yeah.
The system is so complex, and most of these people are trying to fight it. They're drained. They don't have any money. And the last thing that they're going to spend the rest of their time on is learning the crap that we're talking about, Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
This is the crap that we got to know and that we got to put out there, because they are banking on us not to get anybody to care about these conversations.
Right.
And we're going to find a way to do it. And we might have to make it a little bit more entertaining. But that's the way that we're going to have to do it, man. I need to reach out to the producer of Divorce Court. I'd like to talk to him.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
I think that would be a good one.
Go see Divorce Court. Yeah.
Go look at Divorce Court. For anybody, that hasn't seen it, it is on YouTube, 100% free. Well, I don't know that.
It is.
I saw it for free. And to the producer, I'm sorry. It was on there for free. I don't think it was a high quality version, but it was on there. So it's the Red Pill. Those are two that you really need to see, man. And I Stand with John. Those are all free documentaries that you can educate yourself on what's going on with this system. But anyway, we have a show in the morning, guys, that you're not going to want to miss. We have a guest that is joining us, and he is an absolute thrill to be with, and he can answer all types of questions. It is not a boring moment. You just saw him on here a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Carnell Smith. And that man can bring up some numbers, man.
Oh, yeah.
He teaches me something every time we get there. And don't let me forget, I'm supposed to ask him about the cupcake in the morning.
The cupcake.
He doesn't know that. Yeah, there's some cupcake analogy I'm supposed to. Don't let me forget about that. Okay. If anybody's watching this tonight, make sure to say something about the cupcake.
Write that
down. Other than that, guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're getting into the holiday season. So use that voicemail line. You got an opportunity right now if it's nothing more than, hey kids, I miss you. I'm thinking about you. I've been fighting for you. I love you. Merry Christmas. Yeah. That's what it's for, man. The voicemail line is open. When I said something about child support, it was just taken off, Dwayne. I couldn't even keep up with the voicemails. But now you have a chance to talk to your kids.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I love you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Show them. I mean, this is just another way you can show them that you care. If you're being alienated right now, or dealing with whatever, this is something you can do to, show them that you care. They'll see it one way or the other. It's just those little things. I mean, think of it as calling Santa line. I mean, I look like Santa. You can pretend you're calling Santa. I don't know.
We should have done that. We should have made like a voicemail line. Ho ho ho!
Oh, yeah. This is the.
Yeah. Okay,
Maybe
what
we
do
should
you want
start.
for Christmas?
You know what we could do? We could do like a Christmas-ish show where we dress up as Santa and
Mike Whitney did it that one time.
yeah,
That was cool.
yeah. We could have like the kids call in and do like a little ho 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 and.
I don't know, man. A tan Santa Claus. My beard's not wide enough.
That's true. Well, you know, maybe I could officially take on the role of Santa Claus there, and
I don't know. Disney might hire me as a Santa Claus.
you're going to be platformed. Oh my God,
I'm going to hell for that one, ain't I?
Lord, I apologize. I love it. Larry the Cable Guy. Lord, I apologize. That was bad. That was bad.
That's what happens when I speak before I think.
Which we do often. That's one of our blessings. That's what we bring to the table.
Exactly.
My wife would disagree with that, but hey, you know.
But yeah, man, make sure that was what was funny. That's funny humor, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Carnell mentioned something that I had never heard before. He was talking about like the bio dad of his daughter that he paid a child support for 11 years and thought it was his.
Mhm.
That the mom had called him instead of the actual dad, knowing who the actual dad was. And he was like, well, he's like, people like to say, well, they look like you. They look like you. And he was like, that traps so many men. Because he's like, who's to say you and the real dad don't have some similarities? He was like, we shared some similarities, like a certain melanin in the skin. And I was sitting there listening to all this. I was like, are you saying he was black? I'm saying he was black.
And maybe the thing is she's into the same type of dudes. I mean, that's a whole other. I mean, you know, yeah, if it looks like someone else, maybe that trips her trigger. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, that was priceless. I thought it was funny. It was perfect the way it flowed. If you ain't seen it, it's on a reel on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely watch that, and catch the show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific. I think I got it right. 7 Pacific.
You did that pretty quick.
Yeah, and it did the whole
10 a.m.
repetition.
Eastern. And guys, like, I'm sorry. One time this week, I had to take family to a doctor. Family first, and I had that episode lined up. So we did the replay this morning of the one where we had Mike and Robert Garza and everybody on that didn't save that one time. And then we are trying to get this content out to you as good as we can. It is a lot. It is a lot. I don't know what we're going to do, Dwayne, once you go back to work.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, we can figure something out there. Sorry, I was laughing at Julie's comment. I'm not touching it.
Eric can be the elf on the mic.
Well, here's the deal. Actually,
what's that supposed to mean? Wait. Elf on the mic.
You can be the elf on the mic. I mean, I'm Santa. You can be the elf. Thing is, of course, I'm thinking I'm also doing it from the, I of course look like Santa and elf and short. Actually, you're taller than I am.
Yeah.
You're what, 6'1"?
I don't know. It was 6 feet.
All right. Yeah, I'm like 5'9", 5'10" on a good day.
Yeah.
Maybe 5'11" if I'm wearing platforms when I'm going out to the clubs. But
you know what though, we talk about what we talk about, Me Too movement, cancel culture, and all these false allegations and stuff. Nobody's sitting on my lap. Nobody. I'm saying it right now. I would suggest for you to wait. Nobody sits on your lap. Besides Brandy.
Okay, I was like, this is gonna get kind of an awkward conversation. We're getting ready to go to PG-13 right out of the gate. Yeah. Daddy likes when Mama sits on his lap. Actually, I'm thinking about Photoshop.
Yeah. Nobody's sitting on nobody.
You got any Photoshop opportunities out there? Get a picture of Eric and just have random people sitting on his lap and just Photoshop those and send them in. I think that'd be funny.
Dude, it's scary because you think of how bad false allegations are right now, and there's no consequences. Have you seen some of these deep fake videos?
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
The one that really freaks me out is the guy that acts like Tom Cruise.
Yeah. That's
I mean, scary. Like, could you imagine if somebody said like Tom Cruise was on the plane, or he touched me, or he did this, and it was that guy? How would you know? That one, I mean, there's a lot of these fake videos that when you see them, you're like, I can spot it a mile away. They're getting to the point now. I mean, hell, I was watching the other day a clip from Rambo that they put Arnold Schwarzenegger's face
Yeah.
on Rambo, and Arnold looked like he had Stallone's body and was
Yeah.
talking to Arnold. And I was like, holy crap, dude.
Well,
Which
are you an
is
Indiana
cool.
Jones fan?
I never really
Uh-oh.
got into Indiana Jones.
What? Oh
I'll have
my!
to apologize on that one. I was into
Oh.
Crocodile Dundee.
Well, yeah, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Now, Indiana Jones
It's on the
in
back
part
end.
well, part 5, they make Indiana Jones look young, back from the 80s movie, from the not Temple of Doom. Oh geez, God, I'm old. The first one, anyway. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Jeez. Anyway, they got some footage, and they were using that whatever technology, and
Yeah.
it looks legit, like him, like I was going to call him Han Solo, Harrison Ford
Han
from the
Solo, you
80s.
see him.
It looked legit.
I learned that off of Cheech and Chong. I'm sorry.
Which one was it? I didn't hear it.
Somebody said something about Han Solo, and he's like, "Yeah, Han Solo, you can't see him."
I love Cheech and Chong. Oh God.
Oh, dude, they're funny. They're still funny. I mean, dude, I love it. I love it. But no, I mean, it's really scary though. Think
Yeah.
of the trouble that can make with no consequences for false allegations. Now we have this technology where you can make somebody look. I mean, that could be used as
Video.
evidence inside a court.
Oh yeah,
How do
video
you
and audio.
disprove it?
Yeah. Oh, the audio stuff. The AI engines that are out now, amazing what they're able to do. They can recreate voices, all that, just from a short sample.
Which begs me to say, like, yeah, think about this. Like, if we don't change that system now, we might be about to see Pandora's box get open.
Oh, I think it's already been open, but yeah.
I think so too. But that could be. I mean, we're talking about future situations here, but I wish somebody would have thought about the situations that could have happened that we're in now before they happen, with no fault divorce and Title 4D and
God.
Section 8 and all these other things. I can tell you right now, I think that's going to end up being an issue later on.
Yeah, well, they had that case. Well, I mean, I'm not probably too much on this, but the guy here in Texas that forged his wife's signature and got a divorce from her. I think you had posted on it a couple years ago. This guy forged his wife's signature and filed for divorce and completed the divorce. And like a couple years later, she figured it out and all the fun ensued. But yeah, I mean, with all this AI technology, I mean, a lot of it as a nerd is awesome. Because I'm already looking at doing some funny things, trying to do like putting me in the middle of, Star Wars or something like that. But yeah, using it for bad, the false allegations, and there's a lot of bad that could come out of this, and man, we're gonna be in big trouble.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it for the end of the night. Look, this show right here, 10 Ways to Challenge the Narrative About Dads. I think we make some good points. But we're not done with that one.
No, not.
I promise you. It's the only thumbnail I had left. So we came on here and did the best we could. But we'll be back in the morning. I promise you that will be an amazing, amazing show.
Well, I wanted to actually, you brought something up. So you've been producing some reels and some short clips.
They're doing really good too.
Yeah, those are pretty nifty. For the folks out there, if you have not had a chance to watch one of those, a lot of hard work went into it. They're really cool. They give you a good, punch there. I mean, that's a great idea, and the execution was awesome.
Well, so podcasts like this are somewhat, I don't want to say becoming passe, because I don't want the podcast to become passe. But just to be honest with you guys, it's a TikTok generation. People are watching 30 to 60 seconds of something, and then they're on to the next thing. So sometimes, like, even if you got something on this podcast right now, it's an hour and a half long. You say, man, you got to see this. Well, what part is it you're wanting me to see? So we take the little gold nuggets from it, condense it down to 30 or 60 seconds, put it back up. Then you can send that one over. Say, hey, check this out. You're not asking too much of their time. Yeah. And that's some of the important stuff of doing that. I hate TikTok, to be honest with you. I hate it. Yeah. I haven't really ever done nothing with it, but we're going to start making sure we get these out there because it's about getting the message out any way we can, not about what I like. But I also know it could get a little hairy tomorrow. Because Dwayne, are you getting some bad weather tomorrow?
We're not getting any snow, last I heard, but it's like in the teens right now, so it is cold. And yeah, it's going to be bad tomorrow. So we'll see if our Texas, we had an issue a few years ago where they didn't pay the power bill or whatever it was for Texas. Hope that doesn't
It was
happen again.
Cruz. He went on vacation.
Yeah. Went on vacation.
I'm
said,
playing dead.
I totally forgot, turn the light back on or something. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah. Are you guys over there in Georgia?
It's supposed to be 20 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
dude,
what we're
it
looking at.
sucks. Like, look. Last, or 2 years ago when we went up there for John, I saw what that was like. 3
That-
foot of ice on the roads and all that snow. I'd never seen that much snow in my life. And I mean, we drove all the way across the top United States. So it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so they make fun of us here in the South when it snows because people don't know how to drive in it.
Oh yeah.
But guys, we don't have the tractors or like the snow trucks and all that
removal.
other stuff. So if it gets just a little bit icy down here because it's not
We have
too
ice.
cold, it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Yeah.
dangerous, dude. The last time we got snow in Georgia, there was cars all off the road everywhere. It was nuts.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say that people don't know how to drive. They don't know how to drive all the rest of the year, but yeah, here they're just not. Yeah, they're not ready. They think they can stop it. I mean, yeah, we in Texas we have a lot of ice. We have the ice storms, and that
I'd be
is
scared as heck in Texas, dude. Out of all places, I've driven just about every state.
the
What is it
bridges.
about your highways? These guys drive like bats out of hell, and there's always going to be a traffic jam. And when it does, you got to stop instantly.
Oh yeah,
I could imagine there being ice on the highway and then having to slam on the brake in Texas. You got
Yeah.
some crazy drivers. You guys need to slow down, man.
yeah. No, they 80 miles an hour is the going slow. But our bridges, we have these weird bridges that go like
Yeah.
nosebleed high, like you're on Six Flags.
It's that way in Atlanta too.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It's been a while since I've been there, but yeah, that always ices over. Yeah, we have some interesting drivers down here. I try to stay off the roads as much as possible. I don't go to Dallas
Yeah.
because those drivers there. I mean, I'll go there for a Comic-Con here and there, but I just try to stay out of Dallas as much as possible.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including insurance policies.
Oh yeah, well, and the roads don't make any sense. I mean, one of the things I do love about the way the Yankees did stuff is all of their roads are on a grid. So you've got like First, Second, Third, Fourth Street, and main ones going one way or the other. Texas is like, okay, well, you're going to go south, but you're going to go north to do it. It makes no sense. Anyway, that's
But dude, I was just talking about snow. The last time we got a big snow down in Georgia, they had to shut down 85 in Atlanta. There was people that slept in their cars. There was some that went into like Home Depots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Slept because they couldn't drive.
Yeah.
We weren't prepared.
not prepared at all. I mean,
And I hope it doesn't come again anytime soon. I always wonder what it would be like to live in one of the climates where you got snow and you got to shovel it and everything.
I did.
got enough of it 1 week. No, I'm done.
yeah, I lived in Michigan for like a year and a half. We
Did
got 77 inches of snow. I was shoveling at 2 in the
What?
morning. Yeah, over my head. That was that was fun. That
Somebody
was
brought up a good memory.
good memories.
Steve Jankowski said Robert Garza doing a snow angel was the best. So I got a funny story about that one. Robert, the first time we went out there, he was like, I got to do a snow angel. Then we got out there and he was like, I'm not getting out of the damn car.
Oh yeah,
Hell no. But then we get up to a gas station. He's like, I'm going to do a snow angel, record it. And so he did. And he fell down in the snow and did this. Well, we went back a couple of months later. We had to go and talk to the legislation. And most of the snow had melted. But we saw like a little patch of snow on our way back up to Lewiston from Boise, Idaho. He's like, I'm going to do another snow angel. I was like, all right. So we get out. Robert does a free fall into the snow, man. It just falls straight back. Well, the snow had hardened.
Oh,
It was ice at this point.
It was-
So when he hit it, he just bounced off. Bam!
That's why he walks with a limp. Okay,
That is why he walks with a limp. It is funny.
He's young. He still bounces. I wouldn't get
Yeah.
up from something like that. But wow, yeah, that ice layer, it is not forgiving at all. Wow.
No, it is not. So you guys stay warm. Make sure you got your blanket and your jackets and everything with us in the morning. Some hot
Mhm.
chocolate or coffee, and we're gonna have a good time at it.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing about Christmas Eve? We'll find that out. We'll let you know.
Yeah,
Maybe on
figure it out.
tomorrow's show,
Yeah. Throw some
Cool.
suggestions in the comments.
guys.
Yeah.
Get them voicemail 762-441-0281. If you got something that you want to say to your kids, we're not going to beg you to do it. That's up to you, man.
Yeah.
All these people that want to get on the show and they're constantly reaching out. Here's your chance to get on there and say it to the ones
Cool.
that the reason that we're here.
You see Todd's comment? Why do
What
I have
is
to? Why do I have to search so much to find you when you're live? That darn Facebook.
Look, man, I'm telling you, I don't know. What I would say, Todd, is go to YouTube and subscribe. Don't just subscribe. There's a bell up there. Ding it. And what will happen? And from that moment on, every time we go live or we post a video or the reels that you guys are talking about, it's going to send you a notification and say that Dad Talk is going. And I need as many people to do that as possible because the censorship is pretty crazy. I even got a notification not long ago, Dwayne. And it's like, you haven't followed anything on this page in a while. Do you want to continue seeing posts? Talking about Dad Talk. It's my page.
Your page, you post.
I haven't seen anything. I had just came from my page.
Facebook is just.
I'm going to take off the tinfoil hat, but you know what, guys? It's still out there. Please help us. A lot goes into this, and I know it's an important thing. You know what? We're going to get fought every step of the way with what we do. We haven't seen anything yet, guys. Anything.
Yeah.
Dad Talk in the last 28 days gained 10,000 new followers. 10,000.
Wow.
And then 500,000 people on that page, but average 500 to 1,000 views. Bull crap, man. I know better. It's up to you guys to help us.
Oh, look at Jesse.
Dude.
Good comments
Thanks,
here.
man. He said, you guys have helped me push through the darkest times. So proud of you and staying strong for the recent events with the dads being murdered. I appreciate that, man. I'm going to tell you, that's, if I can share a little bit of my heart, that's the hardest thing that, you do here when a kid or a parent gets killed. Because you've got to report on the story, because if you don't, nobody is, or the media, they'll go and report on it initially, but they'll be gone. And it's usually up to us later. Those are the people, we're the ones that people reach out to. Hey, can you help us get our story out? Can you do this? And you're there in the middle of people's griefs. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy because, when you're interviewing somebody about their son being killed or their husband being killed, you have to ask the questions. Yeah. What's going on up here? How does that make you feel? Was there any justice? Did anybody listen to you? And you're doing this right after they lost life. That is one of the roughest things you will ever have to do because you know the emotions that are about to come out. But then again, those are the emotions that the world needs to see. That's that pain that you cannot manufacture. You cannot manufacture that. You can't fake that. It is real, and it cuts like a knife, man. And I would love to tell you that when that is seen, that would make a difference with the politicians, the attorneys, and judges.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're just so callous and cold to it, man. It just.
Yeah, they don't care. That's one of the differences, though, that I've seen with you versus Fox or ABC or whatever. I want to give everybody an option: ABC, NBC, whatever. Is that I mean, at first there's a little trepidation there, but once they see your heart and they see why you're there, you win them over. I mean, just again the recent one with Tyrone. And his mom. I think we're still just supposed to say his mom because we want to respect her privacy.
Yes.
And by the way, great lady if she ever watches, awesome woman. Her entire family is just the best. I'm sad that we met under those circumstances, but when you did the vigil, trying to get, and there was some things that happened through all that. There was a little bit of trepidation there, but then once they saw really why you were there, you weren't there for the story, you were there because you cared, you could hug them and try I'm trying to find the words for it, but once they saw why you were there,
we're there to put a spotlight on it, the ones that
that you care, You
that
you
most
honestly
people
care.
don't dare to go to. We were there
Yeah.
on the streets. We was there in the spot where he was murdered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was just a rough one because there was somebody that had set up the location and had confirmed it, not with Dad Talk. The location was never confirmed. So everybody from out of town
Yeah.
showed up there. This vigil's supposed to be there that night. And the school comes out and says, there's no vigil scheduled here. And
Yeah.
the Dad Talk crew is the first one there. And we was like, what in the world is going on? And then, talk to the principal. He's like, look, man, we had one of these not long ago. And the school got shot up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, we're not doing this here. And I'm not going to lie to you, Dwayne. The hair stood up on the back of my neck at that point. Like we're sitting here, trying to raise awareness and do this. Like what can happen? I don't know where I'm at.
You were Lisa's chicken. I don't know about you, but I was like, Spidey
dude.
sense was going off.
Like cars pulling up behind us and
Honking
people walking up
horns
behind us. Oh yeah. In the
That
middle
one-
of
one
them seeing
guy?
the camera.
Yeah.
Dude, you're constantly watching your back, but that's what it's going to take, man. And I've just had to tell myself, I know some of the stuff that we do is dangerous, but I know what we're fighting for.
Yeah.
I know what we're fighting for. And we're going to continue to get those stories out. And I know it might get dark, but this is what I can say to you guys. You see the parents and the kids that are losing their lives. Make sure to get these shows out there. It's up to us. When they don't represent you in the media, when they don't represent you in the courtroom, when they don't even want to acknowledge who you are, Dad, it's up to us, man. We become the media. We become the media and say, we will show everybody what's going on, and you're not getting away with this anymore. I am crazy enough, Dwayne, to think that we can do it.
Yeah.
I'm
And sometimes
crazy
you gotta
enough
be
to
crazy.
challenge them. I am crazy enough to challenge them. I am not afraid of them. I'm not, man.
Yeah.
Not for 1 second.
Well, and to tie that into the 10 ways to change the narrative, that's it. It's put your money where your mouth is, and you've done it. You've said, hey, we're going to report on these things. We're going to get the story out there. We're going to care. We're going to, make that change. That's how you change the narrative. I mean,
Well, dude, when I woke up yesterday morning, I was talking to another father. His case happened several years back. And they got a ton of media coverage. And then, he was so upset. He found me and he had been watching me for a while. And he said he's just gotten so scared to talk about his story because so many people exploited him for what happened.
Yeah.
But it is the father that when his daughter died of cancer, him and his family shows up to the funeral home and mom calls the cops.
yeah.
And there is video of these cops lying in this casket, blocking this family from seeing this young girl. Wouldn't even let dad see his daughter. Dude, there's prisoners that get to go for special occasions to get to go to funerals. And here is a dad that is being blocked from seeing his daughter. And nothing, man. He was like, everybody showed up. They told me they cared about me and wanted to do something. And he's like, none of them are here to be found. Nobody will talk about my story. Can you help me? I want justice. And of course, man, we're going to do it. But that's how sick this stuff gets, man. And for anybody that thinks that story is crazy, we just watched the David Henderson case where his 14-year-old son passed away, and there was 2 separate funerals.
Yeah.
Mom had a funeral and dad had a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. I was there. Insane. 2 separate preachers at the gravesite. The stuff that was happening during the funeral is unbelievable.
The problem is for people that's not accustomed to seeing the things that we're seeing, or I'm not going to say privilege, that aren't getting to see these stories. Okay. Right. To them, it sounds sensational. Like, oh, this is crazy. To us, it sounds like another case, man.
Yeah. But it's
just another day.
This stuff has to get out though, and we got to change the narrative. And is having those conversations. Just to remind me when I was at an undisclosed location, and I was talking with someone that should have had knowledge of domestic violence scenarios, and I asked her, and she was pretty high up within the organization, and they help families. So she has had a lot of training and information like that. I said, I'm curious, and you should already know this. Do you find it weird, with the who commits more domestic violence? And she looked at me kind of weird, and I said, "Oh, let me back up. Do you know who commits most domestic violence?" And she's like, "Well, men do." And I went, "Well, actually, no. Women commit more domestic violence than men do." And she's like, "Oh my God." And I showed her that information. And then the conversation continued on. Changing that narrative is having those, getting educated, learning those stories, and participating in shows like this, and learning about these things so you can share that information. I'm going to say, at least I do. And it sounds, we've had the conversations, you do too. And I'm kind of speaking for you, is that when you're getting on talking about these different things, you're representing John Mass, you're representing Robert Mass, you're representing Tyrone, you're representing his mother. All those people are there with you as you're having those conversations, because if change happens, while it doesn't change specifically what happened to them, they'll at least know that change has happened in their children's parents, brothers, sisters' name.
Oh, definitely, man. And then I know we said we was going to get off like 30 minutes ago.
This is how we get.
Ideas, and then we will for real. But good 10 ways to challenge the narrative. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that never makes the screen.
Oh yeah.
And even here in my local area, which is the reason why I found out what's going on and got involved in the first place. And I got invited down. We got something in the town that gives away free legitimation. And it sounds like a great service to these guys. Mm-hmm. Well, they invited me down. They wanted me to see their program and how they're giving these guys free legitimation. Sounds like a great program, right? Yeah. And so I get down there, and they actually had two fathers that came in at the moment I was there so I could see them go through their paperwork. So they're sitting there all nice. We're helping you do this. But he does say, are any of you planning on getting an attorney? Because if you're getting an attorney, this paperwork ain't going to be any good. They got their own paperwork. He's like, as long as you got an attorney, we're going to show you how to do your case. We're going to show you how to do everything. So they get them to fill out this paper. And once they get done, they hand these dads a sheet of paper that says, this is how you fight your case in court. One sheet. It was not a full sheet. It was just one sheet, like these different rules. And I was sitting there and just like burning up, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking, all that's going to do is that's going to send him to the child support office and sign him up for child support. And if mom gets an attorney and actually challenges this guy, and all he's got is that one sheet of paper, thinking he's doing what you told him to do, they're going to wipe the floor with him in that court. And it couldn't be, it's not because he can't argue his case or show people what's going on, because he didn't file the proper procedures or do the certain things. Yep. And I know that in the back of my mind. And I'm like, I feel like they're trying to pull the wool over my eyes. I was like, but this ain't my first rodeo. So we finally get to go to the back, and they want to have this meeting with me. And they're talking about domestic violence that day. Of all subjects, they're giving a presentation on domestic violence. Yep. And so my first thing was, I said, if you don't mind, I was like, let me ask a question. I was like, how do you distinguish between real domestic violence and false allegations of domestic violence? And the guy goes, oh, that's easy. If she comes in here and she doesn't want to look you in the eyes, or maybe she holds her head down, or maybe she's kind of scared when she talks, or you see her fidgeting with her hands. He goes on for a good while, just telling me about all these things, that if she's doing this, that that she's a victim of domestic violence. And I finally just threw my hand up and I was like, sorry, sir. And this was a person that was a judge at one point. Yeah. I threw my hands up and I was like, I'm sorry, sir. I was like, you do realize you're already telling me the story through the woman's eyes. You do realize domestic violence happens just as much to men, and some statistics say more. They kicked me out of the office.
Kicked you out, yeah.
Oh yeah, they wanted me out. When you look, I was there. Let's argue research. Let's argue statistics. Let's have a conversation about it. But at that point in time, I knew who I was talking to.
Yep.
And that's how the system operates, man. There's all these different supposed resources for you guys that many times are nothing but traps.
Yeah. Lambs to a
That's
slaughter.
what they are.
Yeah.
They're traps, and they're disguised as these good things. Even the legislation that they do make when they make it for parental rights, they're traps.
Yeah.
They're traps. They're ways like, oh, God bless them for doing all these fatherhood bills. They're going to help you get better jobs, better training. Well, if you get better jobs and you make more money and you get training, guess what happens? you can pay more child support.
Support goes up.
Did you really make any more money, or did you just put more money through the system? We were talking about the stimulus checks. How many people didn't even get a stimulus check? There were
Yeah,
several people
'cause-
that didn't even get a stimulus check, or you were supposed to get unemployment, and they took
They
every
nailed
bit of
it.
that too.
Yep. Yeah, child support nailed a couple of the stimulus checks. I know they tried to work around that. Yeah, and then they're taxing you. Well, yeah, so whole there's
Yeah, we can go.
This
we can
was-
go down that, guys.
the government is the house in a poker game. They're always going to win.
Oh yeah.
If the government ever says I'm here to help you, or I have this resource or service, run.
Ronald Reagan said the worst thing he did when he was in office was no-fault divorce.
Yeah.
But he also said the scariest thing he ever heard in his life was, "I'm from the government and I'm here to
Here
help."
to help you. Yep.
And that's true. That
Yeah.
is so true. That's it, guys. We will be back tomorrow morning, exactly 12 hours from now. So we're gonna go get our beauty rest. I damn sure need it.
I'm gonna get a facial, and get all prettied up. Maybe I'll have my wife paint my nails again, and I'll show up.
Painting the nails.
Yeah, remember I told you about that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
fell,
yeah.
remember I
I
fell
did.
asleep, and she painted my nails while I was asleep. Didn't realize it till later. Yeah,
All right.
I owe her one. Anyway,
All right, guys. Love you
Tomorrow
much. Dwayne, let's do it again in the morning with
9
Mr.
a.m.
Cornell
Central.
Smith, the paternity
Cornell.
coach.
yes, be there.
He's black. He would have laughed at it. He's gonna laugh.
He will laugh at it. No,
That
he's-
was
yeah.
not. Shut up.
We're just
We'll
having
see you
fun.
tomorrow.
Never stay